Hello, good morning, friends. So, in today's session, I'll start with the power sector. Actually, I'm starting with the chapter 5, introduction, cost management of specific sector. And in cost management of specific sector, first of all, we are going to cover power sector. Okay. So, the topic which we are going to cover today is power sector, different type of power sectors, different type of power stations, electricity distribution, a complex network, value chain analysis of power sector. Okay. So, these are the topics which I'm going to cover in power sector. I think you all will be surprised to know that our country, India, is the third largest power producer in the world. Yes, we are the third largest power producer in the world. While at the same time, there are many villages in our country, there are many places in our country where getting 24-hour power supply is a dream. Yes, unfortunately, we have such places in our country, we have such villages in our country where getting 24-hour power supply is a dream. Despite that our country, India, is the world's third largest power producer. Now, what is the problem? If we are producing so much electricity that we have the third rank in the world, if we are producing so much electricity, then why we are not able to fulfill the demand of our country, right? This is the main point which we should take into consideration. And many of other countries comes to India and do research on this. Many of the people came India and do research why this happened. We are producing so much electricity in our country, but still we fail to supply enough power supply. And there are many places in our country where getting 24-hour power supply is a dream. And one more point, that it was a report of 2015 and 16, which shows that among all the countries in the world, India, consume the highest electricity in agriculture sector. Highest electricity in agriculture in the world. So it means people will think that it might be possible that our agriculture sector is very advanced. That's why we are consuming so much electricity in agriculture sector. But no, this is not the reason. The reason is that we are consuming so much electricity in agriculture sector because we are using very poor equipment. Okay, and if we use poor equipment, it will consume more electricity. You know that in today's generation, in your generation, if you watch, there are televisions, there are refrigerators, there are air conditions which come with rating, 3-star rating, 4-star rating, 5-star rating, and these rating will give you an idea that how much electricity will it consume. If it has a higher rating, that if you are buying a air condition with 5-star, that means that it will consume very less electricity, right? It is more efficient equipment. With less electricity, it will provide you more output. So now let us consider this power generation sector in our country. Power can be generated from two sources. First, renewable sources, and another one is non-renewable sources. So if we produce electricity by using biomass, if we use electricity, I'll discuss the question which was left yesterday. I'll discuss that question, and we will do a lot of question in this session. We will do after this chapter, we will do chapter 6 where we will discuss a lot of question. And whatever you have queries in last question, in previous question, you can send me here. Okay. Okay. Now, power sector. Power sector, we can produce electricity through two sources. One is renewable resources and another one is non-renewable sources. So if we produce electricity by using biomass or by using wind or by using solar energy or by using hydro, that is water, hydro energy, or by using geothermal energy, right? These all sources, these are all renewable source of energy. And if we produce electricity by using renewable source of energy, we are not doing harm to our nature. We are not producing any harmful gases in our environment. So we are not going to harm if we produce electricity by using these renewable source of energy. But if we produce electricity by using non-renewable source of energy, like if we produce electricity by using coal, diesel, natural gas, in such cases, we produce a lot of harmful gases to our environment, which will damage the environment. So, every country should try to produce electricity by non-renewable source of energy, because it has two benefits. First, that it is a we should produce electricity by using renewable source of energy. Renewable source of energy has two benefits. First benefit is that we are not harming the nature if we are producing the electricity, and second benefit is that it can be renewed, so we are not consuming it. Okay, while if we produce the electricity by using non-renewable source of energy, it has two demerits. First is that we are harming the natures, and then second is that once it will replenish, once we will consume it, it cannot be replenished. Okay, so we should avoid to use non-renewable source of energy for producing power. But unfortunately, in India, in our country, we produce 58.4% electricity, means around 60% electricity in our country by using non-renewable source of energy, mostly coal. Okay. So we generate most of the powers in our country by using coal. Means we are harming the nature, and once the coal will get consumed, we cannot get it again in nature. So because it cannot be replenished. We are producing electricity in India. Most of the electricity in India is produced by using thermal power station. Okay. Thermal power station, we mostly use coal, while natural gas and naphtha can also be used here. Now, coal supply is limited. We know that if we consume coal, it cannot be replenished. According to a study, shows that by the year financial year 31 and 32, India requires 2040 million tons of coal, a lot of coal, for power generation, which is more than 5 times our current requirement. Okay, so we should try to find out the alternative of producing electricity, because if we use so much coal, then we will produce we will give we will give lot of harm to our nature, and it is also not, we cannot replenish if we consume this resource. Okay. And also, this coal which is used for generating electricity, most of the coal which we use are imported, because coal which is generated in our country is not a good quality of coal. Yes, despite of the fact that China is the largest producer of the renewable source of energy. Okay. Okay, see, by the way, we should go for renewable source of energy instead of producing electricity through by using coal. Okay, from these lines we can conclude that we should not dependent on nuclear energy is a renewable source of energy. Now the next is key risk in power sector. What are the risks in power sector? Power sector is a highly capital intensive business. They require huge investment. They have long gestation period. Generally, it varies from 7 to 8 years to even a longer period, 25 years. And since it has a long gestation period, it involves a lot of inherent risk, both internal and external. Okay. So now, a complex network of electricity or power sector in our country. Let us understand this complex network. So, this network of power sector can be divided into three parts: generation, transmission, and distribution. We can divide it into three parts. Generation. Generation is a place where we generate electricity by using generation is a place where we generate generation is a place where we generate electricity. Then transmission, we have transmission line through which we transmit the electricity. Then we have a distribution through which we distribute the electricity. Okay, so this is a network. I want you to understand this with a help of a video. So let me show you a video. Let me show you a video. Please, please watch this video because I want all of you to understand this network as well as try to understand what is smart grid. Okay, so I think with the help of this video, you will going to understand what is network, what is generation, transmission and distribution. Try to understand with the help of this video what is generation, transmission and distribution, and also try to understand what is smart grid with the help of this video. So that's the electrical grid. Okay. Okay. So this is a network. So this is a network, this is a generation point where we generate electricity. These are transmission line and these are distribution channel. We use a transformer. Step-up transformer is used to convert this low voltage electricity into high voltage electricity so that we can transmit these electricity. This transformer is used to convert this low voltage electricity which we produce here into high voltage electricity so that we can transmit it. So initially these electricity are of very high voltage and it cannot be used directly in our house, and those industries which require very high voltage of electricity use electricities from these lines. Then we use a transformer to convert this high voltage electricity to low voltage electricity, but still the electricity converted into low voltage cannot be used in our house, but they can be used in other industry which require comparatively less voltage of electricity. So these are those industries which require these kind of electricity. Then again we use a transformer to convert this high electricity into low voltage, this high voltage electricity into low voltage. These are the transformer which you will observe around your house. Sometime it happened now, you said that transformer has gone. Transformer has gone means these transformer which has been installed around your house to convert these high voltage electricity into low voltage electricity so that you can consume this electricity at your home. Okay. So this is all about a complex network for generating, transmitting and distribution of electricity. And another problem in this network is that this network is very complex and it consumes lot of money. It's very expensive, so we should try to go for smart grid where we can share the infrastructure instead of having individual infrastructure of each power generating station. Okay, so this was what we have understood from this video also. Okay, now what is value chain in power sector? What is value chain? We know that value chain is a chain of value-added activities. Product pass through these activity in a chain, gaining ratio at each stage. Now, why there is need to understand value chain analysis in power sector? We do value chain analysis so that we can identify all the non-value added activities. If we find out the non-value added activities, we can remove those non-value added activity, because non-value added activity is nothing but just a waste. If we remove the waste, we will left with only value added activities. And if we remove the waste, we will manage to reduce the cost. And the problem in our country is that we are wasting a lot of energy. We are wasting a lot of energy during this value chain. We are wasting a lot of energy and it costs us a lot. So there is need to understand this value chain. There is need to understand the planning which is required to implement in power sector so that we can reduce the cost and make it more efficient, make our electricity less costly, and the places where electricity is not reachable in our country and getting 24-hour power supply, which is a dream, can be fulfilled by making it more efficient. So there is need to understand this, and we should all understand the problem in our country. We should try to understand it. Okay. So what are the activities in value chain of power sector is that first is generating place. The initial point, in value chain, in power sector, the initial point is generation place where we generate the electricity, then transmission, then distribution, then marketing and sales and services, then customer. So these are all activities of power sector. Okay. Now, the next point is agriculture sector. Cost management in agriculture sector. Okay. Now, why there is need of cost management in agriculture sector? As we have discussed that we are wasting a lot of electricity in power sector, we are wasting a lot of energy in our power sector. That's why we are just wasting our resources unnecessarily. And there is need of proper management. So that's why there is need to understand the cost management of power sector. So that that management can help us to reduce the wastage of resources, to save the money. There is need to understand cost management of power sector. Similarly, there is need to understand the cost management of agriculture sector. I don't know whether you know or not, but according to some research in our country, you all will surprised to know that we waste more than 30 to 40% food in our country. Okay, we waste more than 30 to 40% food in our country. Think, if we save this food, what will happen? We can get a lot of output, and we can have economy of scale. So, India is a country having the second largest arable land in the world. After America, India, have the second largest agriculture land in the world. So think how much food product we produce in our country. But unfortunately, due to lack of proper management, we waste more than 30 to 40% food in our country. How unfortunate it is. How unfortunate. There are many people in our country who don't even get a 3-time meal in a day. How unfortunate it is. And what are the reasons? Just because we don't have proper planning, we don't have cost management. And I'm so glad that our institute has introduced these chapters so that you people can understand these concept. I think it's very important to understand all of you, because it need a proper management. That's it. If we have a proper management, we can have enough power supply. We can have enough food. We don't lack of resources. We have enough resources in our country. But unfortunately, we don't have proper planning and management. Okay. So agriculture sector of India is backbone of Indian economy. India has the second largest arable land in the world after America. India is the second largest food producer in the world. Indian agriculture sector contribute 80% of the overall GDP. More than 50% Indian population depends on agriculture sector. In agriculture sector, approximately 30 to 40% total production loss every year before it reach to consumer. So think how much agriculture product we waste in our country. Okay. So think how much food we waste in our country. So there is need of proper management. Yes, one more point I want to discuss, that in our country, we find that the farmers are the poorest people in our country. The poorest people. If we if we find that this person is a farmer, we think that he is a poor man, despite of having enough land with him. But we think that he is a poor man. While in America, farmers are the richest people. They are the richest people. So there are a lot of problem in our agriculture sector which we should understand, and we should try to improve that, so that we can improve the condition of farmer in our country, so that we can improve condition of people in our country, and so that we can use our resources efficiently instead of wasting our resources. So again, a very beautiful chapter introduced by our institute. What are the problem in Indian agriculture sector? These are some problem in our Indian agriculture sector. Indian agriculture sector, lands are fragmented. It is unorganized. Lack of understanding of cost structure of agriculture sector. We don't have understanding of cost structure. Lack of understanding of value chain of agriculture sector. We don't understand what is the value chain of agriculture sector. Most of the people don't even know that there is value chain, and which we can understand, and which can help us to reduce the cost. Okay, and it can help us to proper management of agriculture sector. Lack of understanding of potential working collaboratively. Lack of use of target costing technique. Most of the people don't even know that we can apply target costing here. Okay. So, lack of use of target costing. People don't use target costing technique. Why it is difficult to use target costing technique, I will discuss with you in this chapter. And imbalance of power in supply chain. Okay, so I have an image of supply chain of agriculture sector. We have supply chain of agriculture sector. First problem of supply chain of agriculture sector in India is that this supply chain involves a lot of intermediaries in between. If you can see, there are a lot of intermediaries in between. For example, we produce the raw material in our farms. Let us understand first the supply chain. For example, we produce raw material in farms, then we process the food, then it goes to supplier, then to manufacturer, to warehouse, to distribution network, to retailers, to consumer. This is the supply chain, right? But unfortunately in India, in agriculture sector, this supply chain is very long. So first, what should we try to do? We should try to short this supply chain. Okay, the supply chain should not be long, because more long the supply chain, more intermediaries will get involved, and they will get their own benefits out of them, and which again a reason to increase the cost of final product which reach to us. So there are a lot of intermediaries in supply chain of agriculture sector, like from farmer to first consolidator, then to trader, then to commission agent, to wholesalers, to retailers, to consumers. It's a very long supply chain in our country in agriculture sector? I'll explain the target costing also. It's a very good concept to understand. Okay, so first what I explain you that in India, agriculture sector have a very long supply chain. First, second is that we don't understand the value chain, and value chain in our country is fragmented. Value chain, you know that what is value chain: inbound logistic, then operation, outbound logistic, marketing, after sales services and all. These are all activities of value chain. So these activities in agriculture sector are fragmented, and it's a very long supply chain. These are fragmented and lot of intermediaries are involved in it. So because of all these, it create a problem of proper management of agriculture sector in our country. So a case scenario which was introduced by our institute in this May 2020 revision test paper, I'm going to discuss this case scenario with all of you. First of all, I want all of you to please read this case scenario. I'm giving you 5 minutes to read this case scenario. Please read this case scenario. Okay, most of the student asked me in query session that how to do case scenario, how to attend case studies. So first point is that read the question carefully, read the case scenario carefully, read each and every sentence, try to understand each and every sentence, each meaning of each word. Try to read it carefully. Okay, so read this case scenario carefully. Font size is small. Okay, what can I do then? Okay. If you are not able to read this, please open ICAI revision test paper May 20. Please open that. I think you all can open it by using internet. Please open May 20. Font is not clear. I know that font is not clear. Please open May 20 revision test paper. Please open the May 20 revision test paper. I'm also opening that. Okay. Please open May 20 revision test paper. This is the second question in your revision test paper. In case if you can't read it from here, please open revision test paper May 20. I'm giving you enough time to read this question because it's a very important question from this chapter, and I want all of you to please read this chapter carefully. I hope you are managed to read it now. Please read this case scenario carefully. I want all of you to understand this case scenario now. Now I hope that you can read this case scenario. If you can't read this case scenario, please open revision test paper May 20 in your own system. I'm giving you enough time to read this question, this case scenario. Okay, now let us discuss this case scenario. I hope you have gone through it. Okay, Fresh Bazaar was founded in 2014 as a Fresh Bazaar Mart. It provides amazing place for fresh organic fruits and vegetables. So I'm underlining this, that they provide amazing. Oh, I can't. Okay. So we have this case scenario. Fresh Bazaar. Fresh Bazaar was founded in 2014 as a Fresh Bazaar Mart. It provides amazing place for fresh organic fruits and vegetables. See, I'm marking this that they are providing fresh organic fruits and vegetables. After launching its operation in 2014, see how I'm reading this case scenario. I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to read each and every statement carefully. So whenever you are doing case scenario in your exam, please read the question carefully. Please read each and every statement. Don't skip any statement, any word. Okay. Okay. After launching its operation in 2014, it grew to about 150 stores. Underline it. 150 stores within 3 years, majorly in metro city. But soon it found that it did not have system and infrastructure. It did not have system and infrastructure to support the expansion. They want to expand, but they don't have enough system and infrastructure. Fruits and vegetables are category of competitive market. Again, underline this. It's a competitive market which offer these products very low margin. Okay, so this market will give you very low margin. While the rental cost and other overheads are high. Okay, you are getting less margin while overheads and other costs are high. Underline it. Also, staff attrition, poor location, supply chain issue, these are all some issues. And infrastructure problem prompted it to shut down 45 stores within 2 years of its launch. Since then, company has standardized its operation and increased centralization of supply chain. So first let us understand these two paragraphs. Okay, what is mentioned in the question? That Fresh Bazaar was founded as a Fresh Bazaar Mart. So first of all, you can compare this question with either Reliance Fresh or Safal. If you know that Safal has also store around the world and Safal also sell fruits and vegetables. So compare this question with Fresh Bazaar, and it's a platform of selling goods through stores, because they have mentioned that there are 150 stores. They are not selling the product online like grocers. Okay, remember, they are not selling the product online. They are not selling the product online like grocers. They are not selling the product. They are selling the product through stores, because it is mentioned in the question that there are 150 stores. Okay, they have opened 150 stores within 3 years. But soon it found that it did not have. Now, they have opened 150 stores, but soon they realized that they don't have enough good infrastructure and system for the expansion. And the market of fruits and vegetable is very competitive market, and in competitive market, you get low margin. If you have a monopoly in the market, you will get high profit margin. However, if you are in a competitive market, you will get low margin. So, Fresh Bazaar Mart is working in a very competitive market. They are working in a very competitive market with low margin. While you have low margin, low profitability, but you are incurring high rental cost, other overheads, other infrastructure cost. While there is some staff attrition, poor location, supply chain issues, infrastructure problem. Actually, staff attrition is more in agriculture sector, because there are a lot of problem in agriculture sector, instability. That's why people don't prefer to work in agriculture sector. Nobody wants to work in agriculture sector. And educated people never want to go in agriculture sector. While there is need of educated people in agriculture sector, so that we can improve our agriculture sector. There is need of such people who understand the management skills which is required here. Okay. So, there is a lot of staff attrition, poor location problems, supply chain issues, infrastructure problem, which forced them to shut down their 45 stores within just 2 years of launch of their operation. Okay. Since then, company has been standardized its operation. So after shutdown of 45 stores, they standardize their operation and increase centralization of supply chain, because they have store across the country. They have 150 stores across the country, majorly in metro cities. So now they are trying to centralize their supply chain. Okay. And remember one more point, that they are selling fresh organic fruits and vegetable. Remember, organic fruits and vegetable, not ordinary fruits and vegetable. They are selling fresh organic fruits and vegetable. Now let us understand the remaining paragraph. Though they provide all type of fresh organic fruits and vegetable under one roof, instead in local mandis, people have to go from one place to another to buy fruits and vegetable. Till they are unable to compete with the local vendors. So who are the local vendors? See, there are two type of place where you can buy fruits and vegetables. First is the local mandi, sabji mandi, where you go and buy fruits and vegetables, sabji mandi. Another, you can go to Reliance Fresh or Safal and buy fruits and vegetables. So they have mentioned in this para that instead they are providing facility of buying every kind of fruits and vegetable in one roof. You can go to a place like Reliance Fresh and you can buy all the fruits and vegetable required by you under one roof. Instead you are providing such facility. People don't prefer to come Reliance Fresh. Instead, people don't prefer to come Fresh Bazaar. Instead, they prefer to go to local mandis, local sabji mandis. Okay. So this is why they are unable to compete. They are providing good facility, but still they are unable to compete with the local vendors, people in sabji mandi. They can't compete with them. Now you need strategy. What can they do to compete with the local people, those who sell fruits and vegetable in local sabji mandi? Now next para. It also faces huge opposition from politically powerful small vendors, farmers and middlemen. Fresh Bazaar had major hurdles in 2016 when it chased out Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, India's most populous region, after protests by many small vendors, farmers and intermediaries. Now see, if you know that when Reliance Fresh was trying to sell fruits and vegetables through their store, they also had faced similar problem. Local farmers, they go to their mart and they destroy the places. It happens at many places in our country, in Reliance Fresh store, where they face such problem. Politically powerful small vendors, farmers and middlemen opposed them. Why? Because they had a threat that if Reliance Fresh will come and sell fruits and vegetables, then who will buy fruits and vegetables from local places, from local sabji mandi? People will not go there. Instead of going local sabji mandi, people will go to buy fruits and vegetable in a mart where they don't have to worried about temperature and all. They are going in air conditioned place and they are buying the fruits and vegetable and enjoying the shopping. Instead, if you know that if you go to how difficult it is to go in sabji mandi, which is not very clean area and untidy, unplanned, and no AC, no air condition facility like this. So obviously, if there is Fresh Bazaar, if there is a place like Reliance Fresh Mart and a local sabji mandi, people will prefer to go there instead of going local sabji mandi. And it was a threat. It was a threat to local people. So that's why local people start opposing this Fresh Bazaar. So that's why when this fresh bazaar wants to expand their operation. They want to expand in Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, the most populous place. They want to expand their business in these places. However, they face a lot of protest from the small vendor, small farmers, and all intermediaries, right? Intermediaries, why intermediaries are doing these protests, I will explain you. Because through this system, the system which is introduced by Safal or Reliance Fresh, intermediaries will be eliminated. How, I will explain you in the answer. Okay. Now next para is that Mr. Kailash, manager of Fresh Bazaar, purchases fruits and vegetables from wholesale mandi. Now wholesale mandi, you know that Azadpur mandi is Asia's biggest mandi, and it's a wholesale mandi where you can buy the fruits and vegetable in bulk and then you sell it in local places. Okay. Prices of fruits and vegetables fluctuated in wholesale mandis on daily basis. Now, the price of fruits and vegetable in Azadpur mandi, in such wholesale mandi, it fluctuate in a day, various time in a day. It fluctuate a lot. And why it fluctuate? Because the price of fruits and vegetable in wholesale mandi, like in Azadpur, where they get bulk supply from various part of the country and then they sell it. The price of fruits and vegetable will depend upon the supply. If the supply is more, price will fall, and if supply is less, price will rise. So, demand and supply plays important role in wholesale mandi, and that's why in same day, in one day, there is lot of fluctuation in selling price of fruits and vegetable. Okay, so selling price, the price of fruits and vegetable is not fixed in wholesale mandi, and it depends on the supply of fruits and vegetable by farmers in wholesale mandi. And it also depend upon the whether they are getting the transportation facilities or not, the rain, political factors, and other many factors. Okay. Now, Fresh Bazaar sell these fruits and vegetable at the most same price as local vendor in mandis. Now, Fresh Bazaar, like Reliance Fresh, they are selling the fruits and vegetable in the same price as the local sabji mandi wala. Okay. Though the quality of local vendor, local sabji mandi wala is not as good as Fresh Bazaar, but people prefer to go to local sabji mandi and buy fruits and vegetables from local sabji mandi. So you are providing good facilities to people. Fresh Bazaar is providing good facilities to people. Instead, people prefer to go local places, to local vendors, to local sabji wala. Their business still require a lot of investment. Fresh Bazaar still require a lot of investment. There is no synergy in the activity of the company. Due to all these reasons, Fresh Bazaar is incurring continuous losses. Okay, so Fresh Bazaar is incurring continuous losses. Fresh Bazaar want to expand its business. It want to make money. It want to make profit from every store which they have set up. And that would be the way in which they can scale up their business. So they want to scale up their business, they want to make profit, they want to expand their business while they are incurring losses because of all these reasons which we have discussed. Now, what is required in the question? Advice: is there any scope to reduce the losses and increase profitability? Now, as a cost management manager, you have to advise that whether there is any scope to reduce the losses, scope to reduce the cost, scope to reduce the profitability. Okay. Now, let us consider the solution. So now let us find the solution for this case scenario. First is that, see, Fresh Bazaar is doing product differentiation. Fresh Bazaar is giving you organic fruits and vegetable at the same price which the local sabji mandi wala gives you. Okay. See, local sabji mandi wala, for selling their product, they use a lot of chemical and unethical practice to sell you the product. Instead, Fresh Bazaar is trying to give you organic fruits and vegetable. Okay, so they are trying to do product differentiation and they are maintaining the same selling price which local vendors do. Okay, still they are unable to sell their product. So what they can do more, they can reduce the cost of their product. They can reduce the selling price of their product so that they can compete with the local sabji wala. What is mentioned in the solution? Fresh Bazaar sells fruits and vegetable at the same price. They're selling the fruits and vegetable at the same price as the local vendors. Though the quality of local vendor is not as good as Fresh Bazaar, but local people prefer to buy fruits and vegetable from local vendor on roadside. This is because the bargaining power of the buyer is more from local vendor. Have you ever seen to sabji wala? They do bargain. Bhaiya kuch to kam kar do. Right? So every mom try to do bargaining from sabji wala or fruit wala. So this bargaining power reduces when you go to Reliance Fresh Mart. When you go to Reliance Fresh Mart, you have to buy the fruits and vegetable at the price, at a fixed selling price. Bargaining is not possible in Fresh Bazaar. That's why our mom prefer to go in local sabji wala. Okay, so this is the first problem which Fresh Bazaar face. Now next para. Fresh Bazaar should try to reduce the cost by doing value chain analysis in agriculture sector. Approximately 30% of the total production lost every year before it reaches to consumer. Fresh Bazaar can reduce the losses by analyzing the various segment of value chain. In addition, in India, each segment of agriculture sector like production, processing, marketing, etc. work in isolated manner, and they are not integrated, resulting in multiple losses in value chain. Fresh Bazaar should try to integrate all the activities. Fresh Bazaar should try to integrate all the segment of value chain and try to remove all the intermediaries involved, benefiting both farmers and consumers. So what is mentioned in this para, that what problem Fresh Bazaar was facing, that they don't have bargaining power, that buyer don't have bargaining power if they reach to Fresh Bazaar and their selling price is same as the local sabji wala. Instead, people can do bargaining in local sabji wala. While in local sabji mandi, people use unethical practice. They don't provide you good quality of fruits and vegetable. They use chemical on it. They don't provide organic fruits and vegetable to you. And sometimes they even use the balancing of fruits and vegetable. They disturb the balancing, so you are not getting the right quantity of fruits and vegetables. So they use unethical practice instead. Fresh Bazaar don't do all such activities. So they are providing good facilities. Now what they can do is that they can reduce the cost of their fruits and vegetables. So for reducing cost of fruits and vegetables, they can analyze the value chain of agriculture sector. Problem in our country in agriculture sector is that the various segment of value chain is fragmented. They don't work in integrated manner. Okay, so what can Fresh Bazaar do? Fresh Bazaar should try to integrate all the activities of value chain like production, processing, marketing, which is working in isolated manner in our country and have very long intermediary chain. What should Fresh Bazaar should try to do? Fresh Bazaar should try to integrate all such segment of value chain and try to remove all the intermediaries involved in between value chain. Next is Fresh Bazaar should reach producer, that is farmer, directly through contract farming, removing all the intermediaries involved in value chain. The manager, instead of buying fruits and vegetables from wholesale mandi, should reach the farmer directly through contract farming. Through contract farming, Fresh Bazaar can also agree to support the farmers by supplying input, assisting their preparation of land, information about latest technology, effective use of power supply, providing production advice, transporting produce to its premise to maintain desired level of quality. Contract farming is an agreement between buyer and farmer based on which agriculture production being carried out. It stipulates the quality required and price. Okay. Now see what they have suggested to Fresh Bazaar. What they have suggested to Fresh Bazaar? They have suggested to Fresh Bazaar that instead of going to wholesale mandi, go reach the farmer, the one who is producing the goods. Okay. So instead of buying the fruits and vegetable from wholesale mandi, go to the farmer directly and do contract farming with him. Contract farming is an agreement between the buyer, that is between the Fresh Bazaar and farmers. You stipulate the terms and condition to them. You give the farmer fixed price for fruits and vegetable, and you specify them, you give them the quality of fruits and vegetable which is required by you. Okay, and you help the farmer in assisting the preparation of land and other information technology, because you know that in India farmers are most of the farmers are not very well educated. They don't have even knowledge how to grow fruits and vegetables with the high yield in their organization, in their farm. So you can appoint some person, Fresh Bazaar can appoint some person in their organization who can go and train the farmer how to produce more output from less input, and give them information, help them to grow, and buy the fruits and vegetables directly from the farmers. Okay. Now Fresh Bazaar can fix the price to the farmer by using target costing, and then use target costing. Okay. Now this, I want to discuss this, but what happened? Discard. See what happened. Yes, target costing I want to explain you. See, I'm going to explain you about target costing. Target costing, how we can apply target costing in agriculture sector. See, I explained this topic in yesterday's session that for applying target costing, first you have to determine the selling price at which we can sell our product. We have to determine the selling price. If you don't know the selling price of the goods, you cannot apply target costing. So in India, selling price of fruits and vegetables are not fixed. This is what I have explained you in the question, that in wholesale mandi, the price of fruits and vegetable in a day, even in a day, it fluctuates a lot. So price of fruits and vegetables are not fixed in our country. So since the price of fruits and vegetables are not fixed in our country, it is very difficult to apply target costing in our country. So first point is to find out the way so that we can fix the selling price of fruits and vegetables. Now, through contract farming, by using contract farming, it will help us to fix the selling price for farmer. Okay, selling price for farmer. We can fix the selling price for farmer. In this way, farmer is getting benefit because they are getting assured insurance of what he will get out of what he is investing in his farm. Okay, most of the time farmer don't even get what he has what is their cost in their farm. They don't even get the money to recover their cost. So this will help the farmer also if you fix the selling price for them. And through contract farming, it is possible to fix selling price to the farmer. So once you get a fixed selling price, you can apply target costing. You get fixed selling price, then you can apply what desired profit you want from the fruits and vegetable. It's a very competitive market, you know that. So you need to apply strategies here. Now you decide the profit, what profit you want to earn from it, from this business. Okay. Now then after subtracting profit from selling price, you will get cost, and this will be target cost which you want to achieve. Okay. So remember, we can't apply target costing until and unless we can fix the selling price of fruits and vegetables. Once we get a fixed selling price for our fruits and vegetable, it is very easy to apply target costing. And you know that target costing help us to reduce cost. We have studied this in previous session. Reduce cost. How we do value chain analysis, we try to find out all the value added activities and we try to eliminate all the non-value added activities from the business organization. Once we do value chain analysis, we identify value added activities, we remove all non-value added activities, and once all non-value added activities, that is, once all the wastage get removed, you will manage to reduce the resources of your business organization. You will manage to reduce the cost of business organization. So this is how it will help us. A very good case study with us. Okay. So I hope you understand the case scenario, and yes, I will discuss case scenario with you wherever it is possible for me to discuss. Now the next topic, IT sector. Okay, now the next topic is IT sector. Now the next topic, IT sector. Okay. So the topic which we are going to cover is IT organization engagement model and 4D IT cost optimization model. Next is information technology sector, IT sector. IT sector. There are a number of challenges associated with management of cost. There are a number of challenges associated with management of costs. There are a number of challenges associated with management of costs associated with information technology expenditure incurred by multinational corporation. Most of the organization use centralized IT department. They consider the business organization either as a cost center or as a business strategic partner. What does it mean by saying business strategic partner? Because most of the time we outsource our IT related need or we use cloud computing. Because if we outsource our IT related need or if we use cloud computing, it will help us to reduce the costs related to IT. It will help us to reduce the costs related to IT. And if we manage to reduce because of using cloud computing in IT allocation, we are not having our own infrastructure for IT related need. So these costs are very less and in business organization, and therefore there is need to focus on the management of IT related cost. So we have a 4D IT cost optimization framework, and this is the only topic in this concept. 4D stands for 4D. 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D. Okay. So 4D stands for 4D IT cost optimization framework. First D, define the organization vision, then documentation of current state, then delineation of target business architecture, then decision build versus buy. Okay. Any amount of spending carried out in relation to IT requirement of the organization need to align with the organization vision and long-term goal. So whatever you are expending, it should be it should be aligned with the organizational goal. And in business organization, you either apply simple method or activity-based costing method for cost allocation. ABC costing method is a simpler, is more complex method, but it gives you a clear picture of cost in your business organization. So in first, you define the organization vision. What is your organization vision? And all the expenditure you are incurring should be aligned with the organization vision of your business organization. Okay. So all the expenditure should be aligned with the vision of business organization. Now, next step is to document the current state of your business organization. You should prepare a documentation, or you should study about the current state of your business organization. You should study it. You should find out the weak point of your business organization identify the weak point, identify the gaps which is required to remove in business organization, identify the area which is required automation, identify the area where you can do your work in more automation, right? Then is delineation of target business architecture. Now find out what kind of architecture you are required in your business organization. Okay, now in this step you will define what kind of architecture you are required to remove the gap which you have identified, to remove all the pain points, all the limitations, all the problem which you have identified. Try to find out the architecture which can help you to remove all the problems. Then decide whether you want to buy such infrastructure for your business organization or you want to build such infrastructure for your business organization. So simple funda in this concept is that IT cost is very less in business organization because mostly they outsource it. They use cloud computing services or third party allocation. That's why these costs are very less in business organization. So there is need to focus on this cost management, and we have 4D optimization framework which help us to focus on IT related cost management. Okay, so these are all points which we have discussed. Now the next chapter, let us take the next chapter. Next chapter is decision making. And in this chapter, I'm going to explain you how this decision making chapter is different from old syllabus. This is not the same which you have studied in old syllabus. Decision making is different in your new syllabus. So the topic which I'm going to cover in this chapter, decision making, CVP analysis, short-run decision making, application of CVP analysis in cost concept. So what is CVP analysis? CVP analysis involves analyzing interrelationship amongst revenues, cost, CVP analysis involves analyzing interrelationship among revenue, cost, level of activity, and profit. So this is what happened in CVP analysis. You find interrelationship between sale, cost, level of activity, and profit. You find interrelationship between them. Now, although CVP analysis is most useful for planning, controlling, and evaluating decisions, CVP analysis help you in planning, controlling, and evaluating decisions. Now, different choices, if you make different choices in your organization, it will going to affect the selling price of your goods. It will going to affect the variable cost per unit, fixed cost, units sold by you, and operating. CVP analysis helps manager to make decision by estimating expected profitability for the choices. Now, in CVP analysis, we are going to discuss about activity-based CVP analysis, CVP analysis under condition of uncertainty, CVP analysis in service and non-profit organizations, CVP analysis in just-in-time environment. So, In this chapter, we will study how CVP analysis help in strategic nature to increase the profitability and organizational effectiveness, right? So we are considering the strategic nature through CVP analysis. Now the topic is activity-based CVP analysis. Traditional CVP analysis is based on volume measure. Traditional CVP analysis is based on volume measure. An alternative approach, activity-based costing, ABC, which help to segregate volume measure and non-volume measure. मतलब unit produce and non-unit produce category. You categorize your cost into two forms, cost on the basis of unit and cost on the basis of non-unit. The non-unit based costs are fixed. Non-unit based costs are fixed with respect to production volume changes but vary with cost driver. Okay, now let me explain you. Treat them. Okay, let me explain you this concept. Yeah. I want to change color of my pen. Okay, see. What is activity-based CVP analysis? I'm going to explain you about it. Okay. Activity-based CVP analysis. Okay, activity-based CVP analysis. There is difference between traditional approach and activity-based CVP analysis. Activity-based CVP analysis, and what is the difference? That in traditional cost, you divide your cost in two parts. First is that cost which vary with output. And you know that these costs are generally variable cost. Variable costs are the costs which vary with output. While there are some costs which do not vary with output. Which do not vary. They do not change with output. As output increase, they do not change. So they remain fixed and you call them as fixed cost. Okay, you call them fixed cost. So in traditional costing, you divide the cost in two parts. One is variable cost and another one is fixed cost. So this is what happened in traditional costing. Now, what happened in activity-based costing? They're saying that cost can be divided into two parts. Cost can be divided into two parts. First, on the basis of unit output. cost with which vary with output. Right. And another one is the same cost which do not vary with output. Right. But these are not fixed costs. They don't call them fixed costs. They say that though they don't vary with output, 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 but these costs vary with some variation of cost driver. Right. These are the costs which vary with change in cost driver. Okay. So in activity-based cost, they segregate their cost in volume measure, that is on the basis of output, and in non-volume measure, that is the cost which vary with respect to cost driver. Okay. So these are the costs which remain fixed with change in output, while these costs vary with variation in cost driver. Okay, this is what happened. ABC provides a more accurate determination of cost for decision making. Why we use, instead of traditional cost management technique, why we are using activity based costing? Because it provides a more accurate method for decision making process. Now let us take an example. We have an example. Let us consider it and find the solution. Before doing this question, I want to explain the break-even point also, but I know that you have studied this in your previous classes. You have studied it in your intermediate level, but still let us have a recap of it. Break-even point is what? Break-even point is fixed cost plus all those costs which we have considered that they are not fixed, they will vary with cost driver. Okay, screen is small. Let me expand it. So break-even point, we know that break-even point studied in our previous classes, we consider fixed cost and then the setup cost and number of setup. These costs we have studied right now that they are not fixed in nature. They will vary with some cost driver. They will vary with cost driver. They will remain fixed with respect to output you are producing, but they will vary with some cost driver. So you will consider those costs which will vary with cost driver but remain fixed with respect to output you are producing, right? You will take those costs, right? In traditional costing, we call them fixed costs, but in CVP, ABC, activity-based CVP analysis, we will call them that they will vary with respect to cost driver. We will consider them here, okay? And then we will divide it by contribution per unit or price minus variable cost. So in this way we can find break-even point, okay? Now I want all of you to please go through this example. Please read this question. I'm giving you time, 3 minutes to read this question. I have a query. Ma'am, could you please explain the numerator of break-even point? Yes, I have explained it, but if you want me to explain it again, I will explain it. See, break even point. See, break even point. Break even point is equals to, generally what happen in traditional costing, you say that break even point is equals to fixed cost upon contribution, right? This is the break even point which you have studied in your previous classes. Now what is break even point here? Break even point, we called that we will consider the fixed cost and all those costs which remain fixed with output, but all those costs which remain fixed with the output but will vary according to the cost drivers, right? So we will consider here all those costs which will remain fixed with respect to output but will vary with cost driver. So in this case, number of setup is a cost driver, okay, and number of engineering hour are cost driver. These are all cost driver, and you are considering those costs, right? Those who vary with cost driver but remain fixed with output. These are the costs which remain fixed with output but vary with cost driver. So we will consider all those costs and then we will divide it with contribution. Okay. Now please read the numerical. Let us do this numerical. Compute units and production run Catalyst Limited should produce in change scenario for break-even point. For break-even, you have to compute unit for break-even and production run for break-even. If you can do this numerical, please do it. I'm giving you time. Otherwise, we will solve this numerical. Okay, I hope that you have gone through this numerical. Let us find the solution. Okay, I got the answer from Shubham from Jaipur. Very good, Shubham. Okay, now let us solve this question. Let us read it first. A Catalyst Limited makes a single product. Company is manufacturing a single product with the following details. They have given you current situation. They have given you proposed change. Company has begun activity-based costing of fixed costs and has presently identified two cost drivers. Presently, company has identified two cost drivers. One is production run and another one is engineering hours. Okay, these are two cost drivers. Total fixed cost presently is 96,000. 96,000 is total fixed cost. Right, this is the total fixed cost. This is the total fixed cost, and what we have studied so far that we should divide this fixed cost, right? We should divide this fixed cost um, uh, uh, on the basis of cost driver, right? We should divide these fixed costs on the basis of their respective cost driver. Okay. Of the total fixed cost presently 96,000, after the above 70 to 100, 70 to 100 will remain to be analyzed. Means you have analyzed out of 96,000, you have analyzed other costs, and this cost required to analyze more. So it will remain as fixed cost. Right. So what is the difference between 70 to 100 and 96,000? These will be these two costs which will vary with the cost driver. So what are the two cost drivers here? Engineering hour of production. What is the change scenario? First consider the change scenario. Cost per unit now is 360. Cost per setup is now 360. It's 360 now. Okay. Engineering hour for production is 422. Cost per engineering hour will be rupees 10. Okay, so you can find this engineering cost by multiplying 422 into 10. Okay, plus what will you do? You will try to find out okay. Next, what you have to do, you have to find out the present number of setup in new scenario, new case scenario, right? So how can we do this? First, we will find the number of unit we are producing with current setup, 960 into 42. So the number of unit produced will remain the same. That is this. And we will find that we will divide it by 1008 to find out the number of setup here. Okay. And then we will multiply it by 360. So this is how we will get setup cost, right? So what will we do? We will consider this total fixed cost into three parts. One part is this, another part is this, and another part is this. 40 have derived by considering this. 960 runs into 70, 960 runs into 42 divided by 1008, right? From this, we get the number of setup and we will multiply it with 360 cost per setup, right? So this is how we have divided this fixed cost into 3 points, and we will divide it with respect to contribution and find out the break-even point, okay? And then the question is asking you to find out the production run. For this, we will do, what will we do? We will divide this break-even point with the productions, that is 1008 units, production units. Okay. Now advise whether the catalyst should continue to break even the remaining fixed cost. They have broken this 96,000 into these two parts. And they are asking you whether this remaining 70 to 100 should be further broken. Yes, if you can broke it, you should try to broke it further, right? If you have opportunity to broke it further, you should, because that will give you more clear picture to understand the cost of business organization. That will give you accurate product costing. But one more thing, actually we will give the answer in advice in some diplomatic way. Why? Because let us see what is the way of giving answer of such question. Let us see. Let me see how to reply if they are asking you to advise. How to reply in question. You should know the way of replying the question, okay? So see, how can we answer the answer advice? Advice required to build up good comprehensive argument that lead to one or more choices for the owner or manager to consider. So what you have to give in the answer? You have to give one or more choices to the owner. In this answer, if he is asking you to advise them, you have to give more than one choices to them, right? In this question, you can see in italic word, they are asking you to advise. You have to answer according to the verbs, right? So advise means you have to give them choice. And if you see the answer, they are giving him choice. First, he is saying, yes, you can apply activity-based costing. You can further divide this cost into many parts. If it is possible for you, do this. It will give you accurate product costing. But he is also giving you another choice that you should consider the cost saving also. Instead, if you want to find out other ways to divide these costs and you are incurring more cost for doing this analysis and you are not getting the benefit out of this analysis, then it's of no use of doing further analysis, right? So you should consider whether if you want to do further analysis, you further want to divide this cost, whether you will get benefit or not. Okay. The benefit from this analysis should be more than the cost involved in this analysis. Okay. Now next topic is CVP analysis in service and non-profit organization. CVP analysis in service and non-profit organization. To apply CVP analysis in decision by service and non-profit organization, we need to focus on measuring the outputs, right? We need to focus on the outputs, which is different from tangible units sold by manufacturing or merchandise company, right? Because we are talking about service industry, so we will focus on the output. We have a numerical again, and I want all of you to please do this numerical. We have a numerical with us. Please read this numerical and we will do this numerical. I have a query. One of the students is asking me whether the skill assessment summary is available online. Yes, you can go to ICAI website and the place where you get your strategic cost management and performance strategic cost management and performance evaluation PDF. You can see that there is a point of skill assessment where you can get the skill assessment. And remember that you should answer accordingly in your question. You should answer while considering skill assessment. Okay. So skill assessment is very important for all of you. You should answer accordingly your question. Yes, this question, I have a query. A student is asking. This question is more like operating cost of intermediate. Yes, but it involves analysis. I know that you all can solve the numerical easily, but I just want to tell you the way you should write it in the examination. So I know it's very easy for all of you to solve this question because you have already this question in your intermediary level. And once you complete it, please tell me that you have completed this question. Okay, so this question, okay, I'm getting the answer from Shubham, Jaipur. So, this question is more what we have done in operating costing, but uh, they're asking you to comment. Okay, so in italics we have two words, calculate and comment. Let us see how to write it in examination. Okay, what does calculate means? I didn't find the meaning of comment here, but I got the meaning of calculate. Uh, Ascertain mathematically. So you have to do just mathematical calculation. Okay. I'm trying to find out the word comment, but I'm not getting it. Okay, leave. So in this question, you have to calculate mathematically and then comment. Yes, I'm getting the answer. So let us take just a recap of the solution. What will we do? We will find all the fixed expenses and running expenses in this question. Then the markup, we will add the markup. Yes. I'm getting the answer from many students. Good. Very good. Okay, so this question is more like what we have done in operating costing. So I'm not going to waste my time in this question. Okay, just see the comment section. Okay, just discuss. I'm just discussing the comment section with all of you. So we have the fixed expenses. We will consider all the fixed expenses. We will consider all the running expenses and we will do the markup as mentioned in the question. Okay. Similarly, for year 1 and year 2, we will consider all the fixed expenses by increasing the inflation rate, whatever inflation rate is given in the question. Whatever the inflation rate, is there inflation rate? Yes, I think so. Yes, inflation rate is 8%. So increase all the costs by 8% and find out the cost for year 1 and year 2. Now there is government regulation to fix the selling price of the product. It is mentioned in the question. Okay. And it is also mentioned in the question that route permit charges is not subject to inflation. So you will keep it fixed. and there is government regulation to fix the fare for next 2 year, and they, right, so revenue will be, total revenue will be, you can find the total revenue by considering the revenue which is fixed by the government. Okay, but what are the profit to total revenue you are getting? If you observed it, you will find that the total profit are declining in these 2 years, right? And the profit to total turnover is also declining. And the reason is that cost is increasing due to inflation, but selling price is regulated. Selling price will remain same. So in this case, you observe that the profit is declining during the year 1 and 2. Okay. So how to comment? You have find the rate per passenger kilometer. Now how to comment it? Okay. Profit is declining. So if the price will get regulated for remaining years also, like for third and fourth year, selling price will remain same, and there might be possibility that cost will increase more due to inflation in next few years also. So in that case, this project will not be viable for you to take. Okay. Because if the same selling price is regulated by government, but if there is any option, there is any opportunity that government will increase the fare in future, then in that case, there might be possibility that you will get profit out of this business. So accordingly, you should answer your question. Okay. Now the next topic. Next topic is current CVP analysis in just-in-time. When a firm implements just-in-time, variable cost per unit sold is reduced and fixed costs are increased. Okay, this happens because when you implement just-in-time, you have to improve your system, and in system, you might be required to implement machines and all, right, which require fixed cost. Okay. So when you apply just-in-time production system, variable cost per unit will get reduced, but fixed cost will increase. In case of just-in-time, they consider the direct labor cost as fixed, but direct material cost will vary. Okay, and you will emphasize, you have studied earlier also that just-in-time concept is based on quality, right? So you have emphasized on quality, and you are you have emphasized on long-term purchasing, and you are trying to avoid all non-value-added activities, all waste, scrap, quantity discount should be removed. You are not buying your goods in quantity. You are buying them in small quantity. So you are not getting any quantity discount. It should be eliminated. So what you have studied in activity-based CVP analysis, you can apply the same analysis here also. Okay. You can divide these fixed costs, okay, into these fixed cost which remain fixed with respect to output, but they may vary with these costs may vary with some cost driver. Okay, and what we have studied in just-in-time system, most of the cost will remain fixed. Okay, the fixed cost is more in this case. So fixed cost is more in this case, and and we need to analyze them. And for analyzing them, we can use the same concept which we have applied in activity-based CVP analysis. Okay. Do we have a numerical on this concept? No, we don't have. Okay. Now next is CVP analysis. Next is CVP analysis, condition of uncertainty. Now, how to apply CVP analysis in condition of uncertainty? CVP analysis suffer from limitation that it does not consider adjustment of risk and uncertainty. So normal distribution theory help us in better understanding of risk and uncertainty associated with the problem and help us in reaching good decision. So CVP analysis does not consider risk and uncertainty. So for this we will consider normal distribution theory. Okay. Normal distribution theory, when comparing a product with other, this enable to assess risk. In normal distribution theory, it will help us to assess the risk involved for each product, to comparing the relative break-even points and comparing the relative expected profit. Okay. Analysis through normal distribution theory can be changed if fixed cost is uncertain, or if variable cost is uncertain, or if selling price are uncertain. Okay. The effect of treating these variables as uncertain will lead to increase in standard deviation, because the variability of the variable cost, fixed cost, selling price will add variability to profit. Okay. So if we treat these variable uncertain, it will increase the standard deviation. If we treat these variable uncertain, then it will increase the standard deviation. So let us consider a numerical which we have. I hope this numerical, it's not a numerical, it's an example of normal distribution theory. Font size is small. I didn't understand the query of Hina. Please explain me your query from where you are asking me this question. I didn't get you. Okay. If this question is not readable to you, please take your institute book and open page number 6.6. Take your book. If this is not visible to you, please take your book. Please open your book, page number 6.6. Open your book in case the font size is small for you. In case the font size is small for you, please open your book. Please open the book and read this example. Let us discuss it because we don't have enough time. We have. Hina is asking me, ma'am, in just-in-time analysis, the total cost is setup cost is included that you have studied in break-even point. See, Hina, um, first of all, we are not talking about total cost. We are talking about fixed cost which remain fixed with respect to output, and we divide such costs on the basis of cost driver. So if we have any kind of cost driver, we can consider them, right? And divide such costs which remain fixed with respect to output. We can divide it further on the basis of cost driver. Okay, I hope you have got my point. So you should not write it here total cost. This is not total cost. It's a fixed cost. It's a cost which remain fixed with respect to output, and we are dividing such cost on the basis of cost driver. Okay. This is not total cost. This is fixed. This is a cost which remain fixed with respect to output, and we are dividing this cost on the basis of cost driver. Okay. I hope you got my point, Hina. Please reply me. Okay, now let us do this question. The selling price of a product for the next accounting period is 110. So we have selling price 110. Variable cost, we have variable cost 70. Okay. The budgeted fixed expense for the period is 1,63,500. Estimated sale for the period is 5,000. So the estimated sale is given. Budgeted fixed cost is given. Okay. And it is assumed that the probability distribution for the sale quantity is normal with standard deviation 125. So we have standard deviation of 125. The selling price, the variable cost, and total fixed cost are assumed to be certain. So selling price is certain. You know the selling price, variable cost is certain, total fixed cost is certain. They are all certain. What is the probability of profit being greater than 40,000? You have to find out the probability of getting a profit greater than 40,000. Okay. So, first of all, we will find the expected profit. How can we find the expected profit? First, we can find out the contribution by subtracting variable cost from selling price, which is 40. Okay, 40 is contribution. Contribution is 40. Okay. And then what will we do? There are estimated sale of 5,000 unit. So we will multiply them with contribution per unit so that we can get the total contribution. Okay. You get the total contribution from here. This is total contribution. This is total contribution. Okay. And when you subtract the total contribution from fixed cost, what will you get? You get profit, estimated profit. So the estimated profit is 36,500. Okay. Now the standard deviation of sales volume is given, it is 125. Contribution per unit is also given. Okay. So the total standard deviation will be 5,000. Now you have to find out the probability of profit of earning 40,000. You want to find the probability of profit more than 40,000. Okay, so what will you do? You will use this formula of normal distribution. Okay, and what will we do? We will subtract 40,000 profit from the estimated we will subtract 40,000 profit with the estimated profit and will divide it with standard deviation. We got a figure Z, and we will see the distribution table. If you have, you will check the distribution table and you will find the value of 0.70. You get the percentage, the probability 75.80%. Okay, so in this question, in this case, the average profit which can be earned, the estimated profit which can be earned by the company is 36,500. Okay, the average profit which a company can earn is 36,500. Okay, and you want to find out the probability of earning profit 40,000. So that's why you have subtracted them to find the probability by using this normal distribution formula. Okay, now you get the percentage, what? 7. There is probability that you will get profit less than 40,000 is 75.80%. The probability of getting profit less than 40,000 is 75.80%. However, getting a profit of more than 40,000 is, how can you find? You will subtract 75.80 out of 100. You will get the percentage which is 24.20%. So, getting profit greater than 40,000, the probability of getting profit more than 40,000 is 24.20%. Okay. So this is how, by using normal distribution theory, you can find out the probability of profit greater than 40,000. Now the next topic, short-run decision. Short-run decision making, a very important topic, and then we can wind up with this topic with the help of an example. Short-run decision making involves choosing one course of action amongst various feasible alternatives. You have various feasible alternatives and you have to choose in between. It is also referred to as short-run decision making, is also known as tactical or a relevant decision. Okay, because they involve choosing between the alternative with a limited time frame. The decision which you take here is long-term in nature because they involve choosing between different strategies to provide a competitive advantage over long time. Okay. So short-run decision-making framework is based on relevant cost. You have to choose amongst the alternatives. You also refer them as tactical decisions. You also call them tactical decisions or relevant decisions, and they have immediate or they have to be taken in immediate or limited time frame. The decision you will take in limited time frame, and it often have long-term consequence. Whatever decision you are, long-term impact on the organization. So they often have long-term consequences. Okay. And small scale action that serve a large purpose. So these are small scale operations that serve large purposes. So what happened here is that you may have different alternatives. You have to choose among them. And this approach is also called tactical or relevant decision making, right? You have different alternatives. You have to make a choice in between them within limited time frame, and you have to make such choices that will give you advantage in long term. You should take such decision which will help you in long term. Considering the long term vision of your business organization, you should take decision. Okay. So what is this? Short-run decision-making involves evaluation of cost and benefit of short-term actions such as whether to make a product or outsource, to accept a special order or to keep or drop an unprofitable segment, whether to sell a product as it is or process it further, or to determine the product mix if you are producing different products. Okay. This decision might appear that it is in short run decision, but you have to take decisions strategically because they have long term consequences. Okay. So what happened earlier that you studied decision making in your traditional costing also, but how that traditional costing decision making process is different from strategic cost management is that you just don't take decision on considering the short-term goals, short-term financial benefits. You just don't take decision by considering short-term benefits. You have to take decision considering the long-term vision of business organization. And for this, you just have to consider the financial aspect of business, you just don't have to see the financial aspect, that whether you are gaining, whether you have profit or not, and you take decision. Generally, we do this in traditional costing. We just take a decision on the basis of financial term, whether we are having profit in this segment. Okay, we have profit, let us accept it. Okay, so we took decision in this way, in traditional way. In decision making, we take decision in this way. However, in new approach, in strategic cost management, we just don't consider the financial aspect of business organization. We also consider the non-financial aspect. Non-financial aspect will also affect your business organization. So, and it will affect your business organization long term. So, while taking decision, you should consider both financial and non-financial aspect of your business organization. Okay. So what are the steps which we can follow to solve the question of decision making? Define the problem. Then identify alternate, eliminate the unfeasible alternate, because you know you have different alternate. So you will select in between. Then identify cost benefit of each alternate. Examine the total revenue cost benefit for each alternate. Right? These are the steps which we follow in traditional costing. And after analyzing only these steps, these 4 steps, we take decision. Okay, do this. Okay. So this happens because you consider only financial aspect. Up to this step, we consider only financial aspect. However, in our new course, Strategic Cost Management and Performance Evaluation, they added one more point. You should consider this also. What? You should consider the non-financial factors, the ethical issues of your organization. If you are doing unethically, you are doing your business unethically, you will not to survive for long term. You have to work ethical. Your organization should work ethical. You should consider the non-financial factors also. Okay, like interest of workers, like re-establishment of market for the product, You have to consider the non-financial factors. We'll discuss it in detail and then take the decision. Take the decision after considering non-financial factors and ethical issues. Okay? So short-run decision making, what happened in short-run decision making? Identifying and define the costs which affect the decision. Focus on identifying and using relevant cost. For a cost to be relevant to a decision, if it is related to future cost and if it is differential cost. So in these 1, 2, 3, we try to find out the cost, and those costs will be relevant for us, which is related to future. We will not consider the past costs because those are sunk costs. We will not consider them. We will consider only the cost which is related to our future. And what will we consider? We will consider the differential cost, right? We will consider the differential cost. Okay. So first 3 steps involve identify and define the cost which affect the decision. Identify and define all the costs which will affect your decision, and try to identify the relevant cost. And what are the relevant costs? The cost which is related to future and differential cost. Okay, then you just don't have to consider the financial information, you have to consider the non-financial information also. What are the financial information? All the information which is related to money, monetary value are financial information. So while taking decision in this decision making process, you just have to consider monetary value. You just have to consider monetary value, but you also have to consider the non-financial information like the number of employees, like employees' morale, like customer satisfaction. These are all very important for your organization. Okay. So what are the non-financial factors which we have to consider? See, why are we doing this? Because we said that we are in buyer's market. Buyer have the upper hand, number of suppliers are more, and you have to keep your customer happy. You have to keep them happy. And for keeping them happy, you should not consider only your own monetary benefits, your own financial aspect. If you want to keep your customer happy, you should also keep the non-financial factors for taking decisions. Okay, to keep your customer happy, you should also consider the non-financial cost. What are the non-financial costs? Like you should consider the quality of the product. You should consider the employee satisfaction. You should consider the customer satisfaction, the corporate social responsibility, environmental factor, intellectual property, intangible assets, competitors' movement, how your competitor is moving, and accordingly you will take your own decision, brand name, etc. Right? You consider all these non-financial factors. Non-financial information is a long-term focus. All these non-financial information have long-term focus. Okay. And ensure profitability and sustainability in long term. Okay. So if you take only financial goal, short-term goals, then it might be opportunity that you will not survive for long in your business organization. Okay, there might be cases that you will not survive for long term. So for remain in business for long term, you have to consider, you have to have a long term vision, long term focus. Okay, and for having long term focus, you should consider the non-financial information also. Okay, and not just the non-financial information, you should consider the ethics, the moral principle values also. Don't try to engage in immoral activities. Okay, engage in moral activities. Observe the employee's behavior, attitude, company's culture and all. Okay. Okay. So now let us discuss these points once again, and then do this numerical. Okay, please have your book with you and we will do a numerical and then we will finish our class. Okay. So what are the steps of decision making? Define the problems. For example, due to economic downturn, it is not feasible to operate the plant at normal capacity. Define whatever problem you have. You might have many problems. Okay, define the problems. Then identify the alternate. Find the alternate. What can you do with this problem? Find the alternate. Eliminate the unfeasible alternate. And when you find various alternate, then eliminate all those alternate which are not feasible to you. Eliminate them. Then do cost, then with the relevant relevant feasible alternate, with the relevant feasible alternate, do cost benefit analysis. Okay, do cost benefit analysis. Examine the total relevant cost benefit with each alternative, with each feasible alternative. But after considering this, don't take decision. We just don't have to take decision on the basis of these financial terms. Now, what we have to consider? We have to consider the non-financial factors and ethical issues also, right? We should consider the non-financial factors and ethical issues also, right? And after considering both financial and non-financial factors, take decision. Okay, take decision. Now, let us understand this with the help of an illustration, an example we have with us. I'm giving you enough time. It's a big question. Read it properly. I'm giving you 5 minutes at least to read this question. Please read this question. Okay? If you can't see the font of the size, please open your book. Open your book and a copy with you to write the solution. Open your book and read this question from your book. If you can't see the question in my frame. I got solution from Hina. Uh, Vasudha, how it is net benefit of 1 lakh? Kajal, very good. Okay, let us discuss this question. I hope you all have done this. You have gone through this question. Let us do this question. Priyali, I'm not getting your solution. Okay, now let us go through this question. Okay. Recently, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, along with Drug Control Department, have come hard on healthcare centers for charging exorbitant fees from their patients. Human Health Care Limited, it's a healthcare center, a leading integrated healthcare delivery provider company, is feeling pinch of measure taken by the authority and facing margin pressure due to this. This company is operating in competitive environment, so it is difficult to increase patient number. It is difficult for them to increase the number of patients. Okay. Management consultant of the company has come out with some plan to control cost. So the management consultant of the company has come up with some method of controlling the cost. HHCL provides treatment under package system. Now they are trying to provide treatment in package system, where fee is charged irrespective of day a patient stay in hospital. So the company has come up with a package in which they will charge a fees from the patient irrespective of the day the patient will stay in the hospital. Consultant has estimated 2.5 patient day per patient. They have estimated the stay of patient. He wants to reduce it 2 days. Okay. From introduction of this package, after introduction of this package, they want to reduce the stay of patient. Okay. From 2.5 patient day per patient to 2 days. Okay. By doing this, consultant has targeted general variable cost of rupees 500 per patient day. Okay, it will cost them variable cost 500. Its general variable cost is 500 per patient day. Company's variable cost. Annually, company receive 50,000 patient. Annually, 15,000 patient visited the hospital. Medical superintendent has some concern with the consultant plan. While the management have implemented this plan to reduce to implement the package system for the patient, but medical superintendent have some concern. According to them, reducing the patient stay, if you reduce the patient stay in the hospital, it will detrimental to the full recovery of patients. So this is against ethics of hospitality. This is against the ethic of this hospital company. They would come, and there are chances because you will discharge your patient without full recovery, and therefore there are chances that these patients will come again to the hospital. They would come again for admission, thereby increasing the current readmission rate from 3 to 5%. So readmission rate has been increased from 3 to 5%. Okay. It means that readmission will increase to 300 additional patients. Company has spent 25 lakh more to accommodate increase in readmission. Okay. But the consultant has found bliss in disguise in this. He said every readmission is treated as new admission and there will be cash flow of 4,500 per patient. Okay. So how many readmission are there? 300 readmission, and what revenue you will get from these readmission is 4,500. So this is the increase in revenue due to readmission. Okay, this is increase in revenue due to readmission. And saving in variable cost due to introduction of package is what? Due to introduction of package, you are managed to save the number of patient day by 0.5 days, means half day, and variable cost per patient is 500, and there are total number of 15,000 patients which the hospital will take care. So there is saving in variable cost of 37 lakh 50,000. Okay, and there is incremental cost due to increase in readmission to the company is 25 lakh. So these are the benefits, these are the costs. If we subtract them, we will get incremental benefits. So if we consider this, if we consider only financial fact, we will say, yes, this method is good. Introduction of package system is very good because we are earning profit from it. We are getting incremental benefit out of it. So, this is how we take decision in traditional cost management. We just consider the financial aspect of business. We just consider the financial aspect of the business and we take decision. We just consider the financial goal of our business and we take the decision, and we don't think that how it will going to impact us in long term, right? So if we accept this package system, okay, it will give the organization benefit of 26 lakh. Yes, it will give the organization benefit, but this benefit might be for short term. Okay, and if a patient will not get benefit from the company, might be in long term they will get a bad reputation for their company's name. So, and also this is not ethical to discharge the patient without treating them fully. So, for taking decision, we have to consider the non-financial aspect of the business also, and considering both financial and non-financial aspect, we should take the decision of business organization. Okay. So it is mentioned in the question that before taking the decision, we should analyze both the aspects, financial and non-financial. Okay. And you can answer this question in this way. Okay. So, from this discussion, you can conclude that how you can take decision in short-run decision-making analysis, short-run decision-making process. Okay, you just don't take decision by considering the financial fact. You should consider the non-financial fact also, and that is why this chapter is based on analysis. That is why your new course is based on analysis. You have to analyze it considering the long-term goal of the organization, not just the short-term goal of the organization. So similarly, we can do the numerical from outsourcing decision, sell and further processing, minimum pricing decision, keep or drop decision, special order decision, product mix decision. We can do we can solve the question accordingly from these topic also. Okay. Now we have a question left from the previous session, and we have some time left. I want to take that question from the previous session, chapter 4. Please send me the queries you have in this question. Please send me the queries if you have in this question, then we will discuss and finish this topic. Send me the queries you have in this question. You asked me in previous class. Read this question. If this question is not readable to you, please find this question in your book, institute book. Page number is 4.30. This question is in page number 4.30. Take some time, 2-3 minutes, and read this question. We will discuss this question. I got the solution from Shubham, Jaipur. Okay, let us discuss this question. Okay, then finish. Let us discuss this question. Y Connections, a China-based firm, has just developed ultra-thin tablet S5 with few features like the ability to open 2 apps at the same time. This tablet cost 5 lakh to develop. So 5 lakh is the development cost. It has undergone extensive research and is ready for production. Currently, the firm is deciding on plant capacity. So in this question, we are deciding on plant capacity. We have to take decision relating to plant capacity. So plant could be cost either 35 lakh or 52 lakh. The additional outlay would allow the plant to increase the capacity from 500 units to 750 units. So additional outlay means this plant will cost you more, but if it costs you more, it will increase the capacity from 500 units to 750 units. Okay. The relevant data for the life cost of the tablet at different capacity level are given below. Expected sale from 35 lakh from the plant having value of 35 lakh is 500 units, and the expected sale from the plant having 52 lakh value, the expected sale from this plant is 750 units. The respective selling price is given. The respective variable selling cost is given to us. The salvage value of the plant is given to us, and PV ratios are given to us, right? And now what we have to do, advise the company regarding the optimal plant capacity to install. Okay, so first of all, let me see what is the meaning of advise. Okay, from the image, what you have to write in the answer. Advise. Advise. Advise means advice required to build up good comprehensive argument that lead to one or more choices for the owner or the manager to consider. So you have to give one or more choices in the answer, okay, to the manager. You have to give two or more choices, okay. Remember, always answer on the basis of the verb. Whatever is asking in the question, answer accordingly. Don't write whatever is in your mind, okay. Don't write the story. Don't try to write the story. Write the answer according to the verbs, which has been asked to you in the question. Okay. Okay. Now we have a selling price per unit. We have PV ratio. We have selling price. So we can find the contribution per unit. Okay, and then we can subtract this variable selling cost. Okay. Okay, what they did, they took the sale price per unit, then they subtract the contribution, then they subtract the variable selling cost, and they get the variable manufacturing cost. Okay, they get the variable manufacturing cost. Now we are evaluating the plant. We have to evaluate the plant. Question is asking you to decide upon the plant capacity. So we have taken the output of both the plant having value of 35 lakh. Their expected sale is 500 unit, and the plant having value of 52 lakh, their expected sale is 750 units. Okay, so first of all, we will take the total sales of both the plant. We will take the total sale from the units produced from both the plant. Then we will subtract the variable manufacturing cost. Then we will subtract the variable selling cost. Okay. Then what will we do? We will add the salvage value. Then subtracting the cost. In this way, what will we get? Depreciation. Okay, we will get the depreciation. we will get the depreciation. Okay. And after subtracting the depreciation, what we have done, we have considered the variable cost and now the fixed cost which we have, which is depreciation. And we will subtract them and we will get the net profit. Okay. Now, if you observe this, you will get the higher profit from the plant 500. Okay. From the plant which is producing 500 unit. That is a plant having capacity of 35 lakh, which is producing 500 units. Okay, we have the higher profit from this plant. Okay, now advice means you have to give more than one choices, means you have to give the manager two choices, more than one choices, and we have two choices here. Okay, so if you will consider this question, the solution, you will find that profitability is more if you will install 35 lakh. If you will install the plant having value of 35 lakh, okay, you will get high profit. While if you are installing the plant for long-term purpose, there are possibility that in long term you will have more sale. For having more, selling more product, you need to produce more. Okay, so might be in future you need to expand your output, and in product life cycle, you know that in future you might increase or decrease, you may change your selling price depending on the circumstances and your own strategy. Okay, so if we consider the long-term vision, we want to produce more quantity. In that case, plant having value 52 lakh will be good for us. And if we want to earn more profit, and if it is not a long-term vision, then according to that, plant having 35 lakh capacity will be good. So accordingly, you have to give answer to the manager, giving him two choices. Okay, because they are asking you to advise, and advise means, in skill assessment, advise means giving more than one choices to manager. Okay, so if you read this solution, you will find that in the same way they have given us the solution for this question. Okay, so in evening session, we will going to read about the pricing chapter. It's our chapter 7. And we are going to revise about the chapter 7. Okay. I hope you understand the concept which I have explained you and you are enjoying the session. So ending with this, thank you so much.